I got no problem with it, Skip. But unless he's in a really fast car, he's not outrunning Tyreek, Skip Bayless. I don't think Scotty Miller understands the type of true speed that Tyreek Hill possesses. Skip, in 2012, at the Orlando Golden Spikes meet, I actually went to this meet in 1986. It's for all the top track and field athletes, sprinters, jumpers, hurdlers. They go at the end of the year.
And your event was what?
I was a triple jumper.
Okay.
I didn't do very well. Skip had tendonitis in my knee. I was in the car for 4 hours.
That's
driving
what they all say.
No, I didn't do very well. I didn't do very well. As a matter of fact, Edric Floral, I think he's the head coach of Alabama, maybe Texas now. He won the triple jump, but I think it was about 52, 53 feet. That's what I heard. That's a long time ago.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill, Skip, in the 200 meters, ran 20.14. which at the time was the second fastest 200 meters ever run. The fastest 200 meters ever run up until that point was in 1985 by Roy Martin. Roy Martin, a lot of people don't know who he is, but if you're from Texas, he's a legend.
Yep.
He ran 20.13 and 10.18. Skip, he was the #3 ranked 200 meter guy in the world. Skip, not high school. He was in high school, but he was the #3 ranked 200 meter guy in the world. He ran 20.13. Tyreek Hill in 2012 ran 20.14. Tyreek Hill is also run sub 10.20 100 meters. For people at home, there's levels to speed. You know, you got to, Tesla can go really fast. And then you have Ferraris, and then you have NASCAR, stock cars. They go even faster. Skip, there's levels to speed. And Scotty Miller is extremely fast. For any, I'm not, take color out of the equation. He's fast. He ran 4.39. But when you go 4.39 and then you come all the way down to 4.29, there's different levels to this.
Agree.
So although I love the confidence, Scotty Miller, on your best day, his high school time was 10.53. I know that my brother ran 10.50 in high school. He ran 21.
Really?
Yeah.
Sterling?
Yeah.
How big was he?
He wasn't that big. He was like 176.
Really?
Yeah. He ran 10.5 for 100 meters, and he ran 21.2 for 200 meters.
But at Green Bay, he played it.
Oh, he like 210, 212. Okay. So he had put on almost 45 pounds by that time. Skip, there's different levels of speed. Hopefully the people at home can see this. There's 2 plays I want to show you.
Okay.
And I want you to ask yourself, do you believe Scotty Miller could have made these exact same plays? Because it's going to take this level of speed in order to get out of danger like Tyreek Hill did. Roll the tape. Now, I want you to watch what Tyreek does here. He catches this ball. Look at this. He jumps in the air, and he pieces him out.
Yep.
Skip,
that was from a standing start.
From a standing start. Look what he does, people at home. He takes this ball. Look at this. He jumps, faces it, and meet me in the end zone, fellas. And then we all witnessed this Sunday. Look at this. There's no other guy in the NFL that's currently playing that could have made this play, could have got this far down the field like he did on a slant route. When you say a guy can take a 5-yard route and turn into an 80-yard spectacular, there have been very few men in the history of the game that can do that. Skip, I love Scotty Miller confidence, but I think he was Skip Bayless. As much as he loved little Scotty Miller, he ain't taking Scotty Miller in a foot race over Tyreek.
I am not. But I'm taking Scotty Miller's confidence every day of the week, including Sunday. And I loved it that he said what he said the way he said it, because he was not dismissive of Tyreek. He raved about him. He said, Tyreek is unbelievable, super quick, unbelievable talent. But if we're talking about a race, said Scotty, I've got all the confidence in myself going up against anybody because he has to, because he's so little and so lightly regarded coming out of Bowling Green that the only way he can survive in the league is to walk on that football field saying, I'm as fast as anybody out here, and if you want to race me, by God, I'll take you on any day of the week. He is not as fast as Tyreek. Would I pay to watch them? Sure, I would. I mean, that'd be like Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. If you ran a match race and put it on pay-per-view, would I watch? Yeah, I'd watch.
I'd like to see it. You know what? Since he wanted to get into it, maybe Tyreek, Marquise Goodwin, John Ross, and Scotty Miller.
Okay. Scotty would almost certainly come in fourth in that. but the point is, he has made something of himself because he's got a little bit of diva wide receiver in him that you have to make it in this league.
Right.
If you walk on the football field thinking, wait a second, I'm 5'11", 174 pounds. What am I doing out here?
Yeah.
But he's thinking, no, I won state championships in high school at 100 and 200 meters.
Right.
But to your point, if you start comparing the times, so he ran 100, won his class in the state of Illinois. He's from the Chicago area, Scotty Miller, and he ran 10.53. It's okay, but it's not even in the class of what we're talking about because Tyreek ran a wind-aided. It was big wind, they said, behind him. It was like 2.5 miles an hour over what the regulation can be on that. But he ran 9.9, but then his official time was 10.19 to Scotty's 10.53. Well, that's a huge gap. When it comes to sprinting, it's a huge gap. And again, 200 meters, he won it with a time of 21.25. Well, that's over a second slower, a second slower than the one you talked about. Okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about 4.39.40, really fast, versus 4.29. That's like crazy fast. Now we're getting in the Dion category, and Ross was in that category. Okay, I got it. Then there's what we call football speed. And as you say, Tyreek looks about as fast as you've ever seen a man with a football under his arm.
With pads on.
He's just flying.
He's flying.
Okay? But do not discount. And again, I raved about Scotty Miller in the offseason because I saw this coming. And he's not just your basic slot receiver. They'll line him up out wide and they'll sting you with him. But remember, we're talking about a Scotty Miller who basically lost his job to Antonio Brown. Remember, over the last 8 games of the year, Scotty fell out of the rotation because there's no more room in the rotation. And look at what happened on targets over the last 8 games once Antonio joined them right at midseason, remember? Mike Evans had 63 targets. Antonio had 62 targets over the last 8 games, just one shy of Mike Evans, and led the team in catches over the last with 45 catches. So he's catching all, the vast majority of his targets. Scotty Miller, last 8 games, had 15 targets. Fell completely out of favor. But when you least expect it, he sneaks in there against Green Bay on the last play of the half, and you know what happened? Lights out.
Tyreek in 2012, Skip, when they ran that 20.14, that was the 6th fastest time in the U.S. and would have qualified him to run in the Olympics. Now, he went to the under-20 Olympics, Skip, and he ended up he was the 3rd fastest under-20 in the world. He won the bronze medal in the 200 meter in the games. He was on the relay team that won the gold medal. I don't, like I said, and and I'm very cautious to say, oh, that guy could run track, that guy could run track. But I do believe that had Tyreek kept his weight down, he's too big now, he's too bulky now, Skip, to run track at that elite level.
Although, you know what, the 100-meter guys, boy, they're...
But Skip, you'd be surprised if you actually saw them. I've seen a couple of them guys in person, like Justin Gatlin and Mo. They stop, but they are tiny. Tyreek, I mean, they're not 100 like Tyreek. Tyreek's probably 190 pounds. He's small like Scotty Miller, but he's compact.
He weighs at least 15 more pounds than Scotty Miller does.
I believe, Skip, he could have run sub-20 for 200 meters, sub-10 for 100 meters. Now, there's no guarantee, Skip, because all that is when do you run it and where do you run it? Because we've seen a lot of guys run fast time, and when it gets to the trials or it gets to the Olympics, they can't compete. They can't replicate what they've done. But there's no question,
So
Tyreek.
now, do this for me. I test little Scotty Miller on his 4 touchdown passes that he's caught this year from Tom Brady. And they were all at pretty big moments. You can see it. Here's the first one against the Chargers. That put them ahead. They had come back from 24 to 7 down. Not bad. And then here's the second one. This is against the Raiders at the end of the half, the one you talked about. And then here we go again. This is against Minnesota. That put them ahead 7-6.
But what do we see?
Here's the coup de grace. You know, this is the play that effectively beat the Packers the other day.
If you look at this, it's just free release. He's just taking off and running.
And maybe there's some underestimation happening.
Of course there is. And the thing is with Tyreek, can you imagine if people just played off Tyreek and says, okay, Tyreek, just take off and run. We're going to cover you. He'd have 30 touchdowns because all he would do is just take off and tell Mahomes to throw it as far as you can, and he'd just run up under it.
It's why little Scotty Miller was a 6th-round draft pick out of Bowling Green, Has he risen above that level of
Yes.
draft? Yes, he has.
Yes.
So is he kind of the Tom Brady-ish figure
Yeah.
at receiver for the Bucs? Yes.
Yeah, but he's carved out a nice niche for himself in the
He
league.
has.
He's a solid receiver. Now, he's not going to make any Pro Bowls. He's not going to be your number one receiver. But to do what they ask him to do, come in and hit you with a splash play every once in a while, he's more than capable of doing that.
Okay.
Can he catch a couple of passes and get you huge first downs?
Hey,
sure he could.
He's a gutsy little kid
Yes.
with a big heart
Yes.
and big confidence who can catch it. You know, and I know, you know better, way better than I know, how hard it is to catch a deep ball running full speed over your head and to try to gather yourself in time to snatch it and hold it.
Skip, people don't realize how hard it is to catch the ball because you're tracking the ball and the ball's coming over a blind spot because you're looking over, then all of a sudden the ball...
And you're trying to run under control because you're almost running outside your body.
You got to be able to run without your eyes bouncing.
You're bouncing. You are.
So, hey, Scotty.
Scotty, do it.
I love the comedy.
Keep talking, baby.
And he ran 21-2 for 200 meters.
But at Green Bay, he played it.
Oh, he like 210, 220. Okay. So he had put up almost